back to the Harbingers D&D campaign. We are so excited to be back here. And to be back for the game. We kind of left off on a bit of an intense time there. Wouldn't you say so, guys?
Yeah, it's a little bit intense, just a little bit. Had like 4 things all stacked on top of each other. Lots of lore. So much lore.
All the lore. Yeah, it's been fun. Well, we've missed you guys as the fans, and we hope that tonight a lot of your questions get to be answered as to what's going on in the Tamaron family, because I'm curious to know. Also, for when Seji and Greg, who was the other one? Ace? Yeah, from their amazing back and forth commentary last session, they did receive inspiration. So when you guys join, you still have that inspiration. I'm gonna say audience inspiration. It can't stack, but it will last until it's used. So on that note, or I guess not on that note, we have one announcement. So we are going to be next week. We're not actually having a Harbingers session. We are having a Harbingers recap session. So we're going to be recapping episodes 38 through 47, which is tonight's session. So be sure to check out next Friday for our recap session. We'll be recapping those sessions and doing a Q&A and talking about theories, fan theories, thoughts on what's going to be happening next. So you'll be able to talk with the live cast. So that'll be exciting. Yeah, we're super psyched for that. I believe that's it for announcements. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sierra?
You're good.
Alrighty, perfect.
I'm dealing with technical issues, but just so everybody knows why I'm looking over here on my other monitor. I'm trying to solve them.
Yes.
But, yeah.
Sadly, Dane is having a bit of technical problem with hearing us and talking.
It's the rules. If there is a Rosemary PG Studios live stream, there is technical difficulties.
Exactly.
Every time.
You can't do without it.
It's part of the brand.
No, don't curse us with that. But so it's not a session without a technical difficulty, correct? But just be patient with us as we are working through technical difficulties and working to get this game to you. So we are going to kick this off with a recap of last session, given by none other than our resident Warforged.
That's me. Oh, cool.
Yeah. So by all means, take it away, Greg.
Awesome. All right. So, like I said, last session was kind of heavy. There was a lot of stuff that happened. We had, Nuri's husband, technically he came out back the session before, but really we got to sit down and talk to him this session. So, and we haven't even finished. We haven't even started a real good sit down conversation with him. But yeah. So let's start from the beginning. Ami is awake. We did it. Nuri's son. This is Nuri's biggest motivation throughout, the whole campaign. And her son's finally awake. He's finally back up. And Esmond's there. It's this cute family reunion. There were some in chat who would disagree that it was cute. There were many opinions on Esmond, but it's fine. He's done many things that deserve many different opinions. So, yeah.
He's a morally gray character.
He's a morally gray character. Yeah. The dark elf thing makes sense for him. That's sort of their whole shtick. But we kind of started off the session with Ami being put to bed and starting his rest period, and Nuri just having these cute motherly moments with him, and she directs Esmond to go begin picking up the gold that was used in the spell to return Ami's soul to his body. And so Esmond goes, and Dusty follows. Dusty and Esmond have a conversation where Dusty reveals that he blatantly does not like Esmond, and he's not even sure if he ever would be able to like Esmond or forgive him for what he's done. In Dusty's mind, it's completely his fault any of this happened, so I mean, he's not going to be happy with him, at least for a while. But they have a conversation where both of them just kind of set down the guidelines, like, this is how I feel about you, okay? After that, Dusty talks to Amaris, who relates, maybe that was a little bit too harsh, to which he responds, I don't think it was. I think it could have been harsher. After that, we sort of have this, like, time. Dane has Douse go over towards the flying ship to begin preparing some food for Ami and to start things over there. And then we start feeling tremors. And we know that the wrens have been growing. And we realize, Esmond being one of the first to realize, strangely enough, it's almost as if he knew about this stuff. Strange. He points out that we're in danger and we need to leave. And so we begin leaving. He mentions almost offhandedly that there's also like a monster in the sewers, but he's like, we don't have to worry about that. So we begin running. We pick everyone up. We bring the alchemist with us, and Granny, who is determined to make sure that Blue Boy gets his lollipop. And we begin just hoofing it as fast as we can. We come up with a plan to try and alert the village of the danger. We put messages in the sky, which only seem to drive their panic even further, to which the wrens break through out of the ground and begin destroying the town. We all get to the boat and begin trying to take off, and that's when the wrens begin pulling towards the boat, almost as if they're trying to stop us from leaving, recognizing life escaping its endless void. And it reaches out, and for some reason, Esmond begins talking to himself. We've seen this happen before with Nuri, where she'll cast Sending, and she's able to talk and have a two-way conversation, but we only hear one side of it. And he says some very suspicious things about danger and safety, and he promises to do some things. And this all culminates as the boat begins lifting off to where Esmond pushes the Winter King off the edge of the boat into the Rend, destroying him. And this drives Nuri into a bit of a frustrated panic and emotional trauma. There was lots of trauma, lots of hitting people and flames thrown around. Then an explosive automaton was launched at the side of our boat and exploded our boat. Hopefully I'm conveying the craziness of what that combat was like. They're like automatons, but they're not like Dusty, they're more like explosives. And we have at least one of them hit the side of the boat. And we escape, but we escape without the Winter King. And we then begin settling down. Dusty goes to comfort Nuri. Esmond goes to sulk, along with Douse holding him by the scruff of his neck, putting him in timeout, as we say. And we separate off a little bit for a night's rest. A poor night's rest, I'm sure, but a night's rest nonetheless. And that's pretty much where we left off and where we are now, each in our own separate rooms as we have gotten ready for the night.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Greg. A wonderful recap. And with that, let's dive in today's, or I guess should I say embark on today's journey, today's session. Because we're on a board, maybe? Board the session? I don't know. I'm going to turn on the music. Alrighty. Man, that's spooky. Okay. Alrighty. I know it's kind of sad. The players can't hear the music, unfortunately. It's just
It is
for you
sad.
guys.
I was listening to the session this morning, and I was like, man, this music like really fits, and there's like sound effects and stuff. I was like, wow, this is great.
It's all from Pocketboard.
Hey, still not sponsored, but you know,
Yeah, still not
It's
sponsored.
fine.
it's just
I'll
a
just
good
listen to my own music. I got Friends with the Rain to represent Douse.
There we
Ah.
go.
Yeah, Rain ASMR. You have that in the background. Should find some like desert sounding like music.
Tumbleweeds.
To have. Yeah, tumbleweeds.
Tumbleweeds, sand blowing.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, no. Right now, you guys are above a forest. So you're hearing the birds chirp and
A
everything.
rainforest?
No, not a rainforest, unfortunately. But it is thickly very thick and very densely packed woods. So you just see lots of treetops beneath the ship, if you guys were to head outside and check. Each of you are within your rooms, recovering from what a fight that was. Fending off the rend, a ginormous rend, by the way, and an explosion on the boat, and the loss of the Winter King. So, as everyone is on this boat, a very morose feeling is very pervasive here. It's like a shroud is upon the party. As you all continue to stay within your chambers. Douse Esmond does not seem to be talking or anything. He continues to sit on the floor, his back up against the wood in the corner of the room. And his arms are kind of lazily rested on the tops of his knees. And his head is just bowed within that, within his arms. You honestly can't tell if he's sleeping, deep in thought, or depressed. It could be all three as well.
If I want to talk to him, I gotta do Inception then, hop into his dreams.
Oh, yeah, we've done that before.
Nah, if I can't tell if he's awake, I'm not going to budge him. I'm gonna let him rest. But I do want to try and talk him out of it eventually. Not out of it, but be like, hey, this has happened. We need to focus on what's coming next because you're still alive, we're still alive type of a scenario. Like, it's not over.
Yeah.
But Douse he's not going to make a move if this guy's asleep.
And you currently cannot tell.
I will just sit in my corner. I assume he's in the bed, so I'm like...
Well, no, he's actually on the floor in the corner, so, like, technically he would be right here.
Okay.
He doesn't think he deserves a bed.
Douse is not going to go to sleep if he's the only one watching this guy. So Douse will just sit on his bed, chilling for the time being.
In that case, high or low, Douse?
You know, he's in a low place, but I want him to get into a high place, so we're gonna go with high.
All right, that's a good way of thinking. Okay.
There we go.
Okay. Unfortunately for you, I did not roll high. So, instead, Dusty is... He was thinking. Dusty's like sitting down on a bed. He's just thinking to himself about what happened today. And eventually he musters up the determination to stand and go check on something. So he's going to stand up, and he's going to move towards where that explosion happened. So that would be, I guess, over here.
So the
boat?
explosion happened right over on this end of the ship.
Is that a new feature? I just saw like the path in the distance that Dusty just took.
Yes, if you want to show where your character is walking, if you hold down your token with left click, this is for the audience too. If you hold down your token with left click on Roll20 and then you right click, it'll bring out an arrow. Then if you right click a second time, it'll put a dot down where your character moved to, and then you can like show the actual trajectory your character moves, and it moves smoothly on everyone else's screen, but it's abrupt on your screen. And it's cool little feature.
That's so wild.
Yeah.
I did
learned
not
that
know that.
with another campaign, so figured
This
I'd
is so
share.
cool.
I know.
Sorry, I nerded out there.
All good. But yeah, he goes over here, and he's going to sort of inspect the explosion area. Miles and Thea are here.
Yes. So if you head out over to the explosion area, you notice that Miles and Thea are already there. Miles is actually working on repairing the ship right now. Thea looks to be watching over the supplies and handing him things as he needs. And you come up upon the pair, and Thea turns and she looks at you.
Dusty says, I know you told me to rest, but I had to check on something first. And
Check on what?
he's going to begin looking for pieces of the automaton that was destroyed. If he doesn't see any at like a glance, he's going to tell them. He's going to say, "I'm looking for that that thing that was launched at our hull. I wanted to see it. I got a glance as it was flying through the air, but..."
You see Miles kind of like pops up from where he is, and you notice that he's actually wearing giant goggles on, and so as he kind of like turns up to you and he pulls the goggles up and puts them on the top of his head, and he's wearing thick leather gloves with his leather apron in front. And he pulls one hand out of the glove and starts wiping, kind of rubbing his eyes a bit. And he goes, I was looking through the rubbish as well, and, well, I couldn't find anything but a couple spare bits of metal. Nothing worth salvaging of it. I can tell you anything you want to know about it. It technically was my creation. And he kind of like rubs the back of his neck very awkwardly.
Yeah, thank you. I just guess I wanted to know I understand I'm different from the automated creatures that you've created before, in that I have parts that make me unique. And he kind of pauses and he says, I think it would be unwise to share full details. It seemed that Esmond was able to communicate with the Heralder, and that the Heralder had some perspective on what was happening here. So I'm not sure if he has a scrying spell cast or something, but let's just try to keep things we share to a minimum, shall we?
As you said that, Thea visibly like bristled and tensed. And she's like, that pig. Esmond.
Dusty nods. He says, I don't like him either. Frankly, after the stunt he pulled, I was about to throw him overboard myself, but I realized that would just cause Nuri more pain, and she doesn't need that right now. So we'll tolerate his behavior for now. At least I will. I will not stop you. I don't think I have the willpower to. He shrugs.
As much as I would love to throw that man overboard, we need answers. Like, why on earth would he want to throw the king overboard? What advantage does that give him? Was that supposed to help the Heralder? Was that supposed to help him? Either way, if he works for the Heralder, we can't trust him. He can't remain here. And Miles kind of pipes up and he's like, I hate to be the devil's advocate here, but he is still Nuri's husband, right? I mean, it's a bit complicated.
Legally speaking, they haven't had a divorce.
They haven't had a divorce.
Yeah.
Their son is here. Painting him as the villain, wouldn't that just make it worse for Ami? It is Ami, right?
Yes, Ami's right.
Okay.
I agree, begrudgingly. If you're right, it is the wise option to not paint him in this harsh light, but the fact still stands. Let's say scrying is the spell that's used. The person that the Heralder could cast it on is Esmond. And then, just by being here, he could see everyone around. He is dangerous to keep around, but I don't know. Maybe we rest on it. We can't stop moving, though. We should probably be sporadic with our trajectory as well. Not even sure where we're headed. I don't think we should discuss that aloud either.
Yeah, already ahead of you, Miles says. I've been making it very difficult to be tracked. As for where we're headed, I won't say.
Dusty nods. Now, I did want to ask you a few questions, if that's all right.
Of course.
When you created that creature that was launched, was it programmed with the same thought as I was? I know I'm different, but did you program it to think and problem solve?
No. When I was captured by the Dark Elves, well, by the Heralder, let's just say. Don't want to put any stigmatism on one race. But I got Megan to laugh. He after a moment when like nobody else kind of like laughs at what he was trying to convey, he was like, he just clears his throat and continues. Well, after I was captured, they wanted me to create you. Yes, Silver Dusk, that's what Miles is trying to do.
Good job, Miles. That's my dad.
Yeah. And he goes, they wanted me to create automatons. Metal men that could fight for them and increase their forces effectively. I tried, as they were going to kill me, and I wasn't quite ready to, well, let's just say I'm not quite ready for death. And so I got set to work. I knew I had to make something, but I didn't want to be helping the Heralder. So, in the meantime, I worked on the escape plan here as he gestures to the boat. And I started building metal men. And I purposefully made it so they were similar to my early work. Not very good, not very bright. Things that could just point and run and walk. But the problem is that I, as I was trying to create these, well, I may have failed a couple times and mishandled a couple things here and there in my stress and weariness, and let's just say a few of them may have blown up in my face. And it seems like that's what the Heralder wanted, I guess, since he couldn't get metal men to add to his army in the fighting aspect. He got them as explosions. And so it seems like they're using my work and recreating it.
I see. Well, it's good to hear that they're not fully finished.
Yes.
You told me to share my thoughts and my feelings with others, so in an effort to do that, when I first saw it flung, when I saw it hold on to the bridge, my first instinct was to help it and to pull it up. But it didn't give me time, as its true purpose was revealed. But it was still painful. In the town, we couldn't save the town. We didn't have time. We were too caught up with our own personal affairs. I could have done something. Could have warned people. But he shakes his head. He says, "It's too late now. We'll just have to bring that with us. Use it in the next adventure. In the next town. And warn people of what's going on." He shakes his head. Doesn't make it feel any less painful, but at least we learned something.
Of course. And I'm I'm sorry, Dusty. I wish I had been stronger. And didn't create those. I'm sorry. Seji's comment. How is my baby boy?
Alive. He's alive. He's down there with Douse. Don't worry. Safe. Curled up in the corner currently, yeah. So, Dusty, upon hearing Miles say this, he just kind of like takes sort of a shaky step forward. He is still exhausted. He canonically still has a point of exhaustion. But he like reaches over towards him and like embraces him. And he says, "We've done the best we can. I don't think things could have ended up much better than they have. There's always better decisions to make, but like I said, you just have to move forward with them."
Exactly. That's all anyone can do.
Dusty kind of lets him go. And then he looks towards Thea and gives her a hug as well. And then he like lets them go and he kind of like nods and he says, I'm going to return to my bed and rest, but if you need anything, please don't be afraid to call me.
You see Thea kind of shifts one of your bandages to cover up a bit of metal that was poking through, and she's like, rest well, Dusty, and know that the same applies to you. If you ever need anything. And she leans in close to your face and she goes, anything. Like, I will murder anyone for you.
I know. He nods. He's like, yeah, she totally would.
And she goes, good. And then she kind of pats you on the shoulder and says, go rest. You'll need it.
He nods and turns, and then he returns back to his bedding.
Okay, alrighty. And they continue, sweating bullets. And as such, Thea and Miles, I was about to say Noah for some reason. Thea and Miles.
Noah's his real name.
Yeah, no.
Revelation, lore drop. No.
Miles is his hidden name, his secret name.
His secret name is Noah. No? As Thea and Miles continue to repair the boat. So that is what they are continuing to do. Alrighty. As the boat has kind of calmed down, or was there something, Sierra, it looked like you were about to say something?
I can do something, but I don't have to.
What are you gonna do?
Well, if people are like settling down for the night, I imagine it's like kind of like, this all happened evening, right? It was like late evening, you had said, or something? Okay.
The sun was setting, and so now it's night.
Yes. So Nuri had called Azon and stuff happened. And so if you're okay with it, I mean, I don't want to take up too much time, then Nuri would do some stuff kind of like middle of the night-ish time. So it's been a couple hours.
I'm very intrigued.
Okay, well, if you're okay with it, then. Gotta cough real quick, so. Okay, Nuri has been sitting in her room, kind of well, okay, not kind of. She's very sad right now. And she is sitting on the ground where she had spent the last couple nights looking after her grandfather. She has her flask from Val, which is currently a fake, and high or low, Douse to see if she notices it's real or not yet.
I don't want her to see this, so I'm going to say low because it goes below the radar.
You're hoping it goes below the radar.
Yep.
So she has been sitting there. She's been drinking out of her flask. And she's starting to notice something is wrong with it.
It's not as full.
Which never happens. It never gets this empty when she shakes it.
Silver Dusk, do I have it or do you have it currently? I have it.
Yeah, I think she gave it to you.
Okay,
Yeah, I gave it to you.
You have it right now. Well, so she's kind of noticing something's wrong with it, but that's not the biggest thing on her mind. So she's sitting in the room. It's completely dark in there. And she has dark vision, so, let's just start with that. But on one side of her is her fake flask, which she doesn't realize quite yet is fake, but something's wrong with it. On her other side, and she's sitting on the ground, on her other side is the picture Dusty gave her that Tax drew.
Mm-hmm.
And she, yes, and she is sitting with her hands on her knees, and she has her dagger kind of just like swinging back and forth as she's like looking down like this. Very kind of reminiscent of how she was waiting for Esmond the first time when she burned down the town.
Oh no.
And she's sitting there. Do I want to do this? Let me see how many spell slots I have. Let me check something real quick. Okay. Okay. I have too many. So
That is something you never hear from a wizard.
I have too many spell slots. Yes, if anyone were in there, it looks like she is in the middle of a very big decision.
Oh.
And her hand, at one moment, her hand kind of just sparks and she lets out a chromatic orb of fire again. And then, quickly, uses another spell to snuff it out because it's a small fire.
On a wooden boat.
Yes, there's a little scorch now on the floor. Little scorch mark. And then, so it's now about the middle of the night. She's been in this position, debating for a solid 2 hours at least. And she's going to get up, and she picks up the drawing, the flask, and she's going to leave her room. Is Amaris outside the door, actually?
No, she went over to drop off it a couple hours ago.
Okay. So she's not there anymore.
Before anyone even tries, I just want to make sure, but could I say that Douse has actually locked the door? Because he's in
He did lock
warning mode?
You said that last session, that you had locked it. Mm-hmm.
Okay. He's not letting anyone in or out without first giving them a once-over to see their intentions.
Okay. And she is going to go to the door. She has her dagger out. Her dagger's in one hand. Her flask is in the other. And I know there's a screen delay, so if you guys will just bear with me. But I want to give Seji a high or low. to depend on how she is going to go in with the mind.
Seji!
So, Sedri, high or low. I'm gonna roll 2d6s. There's a little bit of a screen delay, but just type in if it's high or low.
Oh my gosh.
That's going to depend what she does.
This is new. This is
Asking
new.
the
Asking
audience a high or low. That baffles. Oh my gosh.
Big approval.
Wisely said.
Says Seji. That's a lot of responsibility, Seji.
Hi.
Don't make the
Okay,
wrong
you chose high.
decision.
You chose
Okay.
high.
Hi. Okay.
I will say, Douse will oppose you if you go in to attack Esmond, so this will be
Okay.
PvP if you are okay with that.
We do have
Or-
rules for PvP. You do have to approve of it within each other.
Which I'm fine with it, but I'm letting Sierra know that
If it
that
comes
is
to
Douse's
PvP in this specific situation, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I have
just-
rolled my 2d6s. I will
All-
not say what it is.
All attacks will be non-lethal attacks.
Yes.
Yes. But Douse
Fingers
will
crossed.
Except
Douse
against
will
Desmond.
be fighting back to save Esmond.
Okay, Seji, hi, cross your fingers. Yep, let's see
So-
what happens.
I won't tell you what the 2d6s were, but the decision has been made.
Oh.
She is going to try the door handle, discover it is locked.
Before you continue,
Yes.
I would just like to remind the audience that Seji and Ace both have a point of inspiration. Remember, you guys can use this to impose disadvantage or advantage on either a player or NPC within the game. So, just so you know,
Just so you
continue.
know. Okay. She knocks on the door because it's locked. Rude.
Yes.
Are you opening the door?
No, he's talking from the other side.
Can you open the door, please?
For what purpose?
I want to talk to Esmond.
I'll look over to Esmond, kind of like go nudge him. Esmond, how are you feeling right now?
You kind
Esmond?
of like go over and nudge.
It's a doll!
Nudge. He's been gone the whole time. No, you go over and you kind of like nudge his foot with your foot, and you see him look up, and he's just got like dark circles under his eyes, and he just looks awful. So, he slowly rises to his feet. Actually, no. He's gonna stay on the floor, actually. He stays on the floor. I'm interested to see how this goes. He still stays in the position that he's sitting in, with kind of like his hands on his knees, with his knees sitting down. So are we all, yes, Professor Falcon. And he just looks up at you, Dane, and he nods. He's like, I'm fine.
You don't look at my friend. I will tell her to go away if you need a few moments.
He shakes his head.
Alright. Douse is gonna stand up, kind of crack the door open, and he's gonna do an insight check in Nuri's posture
Okay.
and just see, because this is a tense situation.
I mean, she
He
is
wants to-
holding her flask and her dagger.
Yes, you see a flask in one hand and a dagger in the other. You do see that.
Okay. But do I see any more of her intention with a dirty 20?
With a dirty 20. Oh,
I
okay.
rolled a 15 plus 5 to insight, so.
Ooh.
From her posture, you can see she's determined. You can see that she's been crying. Her eyes are puffy and red. You get a small hint of alcohol, and you know she's been drinking out of her flask. However, you would notice that her hand is not tightly holding the dagger. It's almost like she's almost forgotten that it's there.
Okay.
And take that as you will.
He's concerned about you remembering that there is a dagger. So, here's what he's going to do. He will let you in, but before he lets you in, he's going to use... What was it? I've used it previously. Shape the flowing river. As an action, I can spend a key point to choose an area of ice or water no larger than 30 feet. And I can make basically an ice wall. So he's going to uncap his unlimited decanter of water to create the wall of ice, or water between you guys. And
Oh,
you'll
like
leave-
in the room?
Yes,
Oh.
Between you and Nuri?
between Nuri and Esmond.
So it's like that glass protection thing between them, so they can't like hit each other. It's like what like jail cells and stuff when you go and visit convicts.
It says no less than 30, or no larger than 30
Awesome.
feet, so it could be less than, which means I can fill up part of this room and then I can dissipate it later.
Approval.
Oh.
I approve of this. This is epic.
Okay.
It's just like a small wall where like you can kind of come in. Most of the area is because of the bedding and everything. Like that's all on Esmond's side, so you get like maybe 5 feet, 10 feet to walk in. But
So Nuri's like right there, and he's like right there.
yeah, and Douse is on Esmond's side. Well, actually, I guess no, because he made it with Esmond on the other side, so he's on your side, Nuri.
Okay. And there's this wall. And
Yep.
So you open the door, she walks in to see this.
I'm detaining him and making sure nothing happens. I'll get rid of this later, but
Douse, can you step out, please? I want to talk to him alone.
sure. Douse will step out, but he's going to be just outside the door and listening for any sounds of that glass or any attacks going towards that ice wall.
Okay. Once he closes the door, Nuri's gonna cast Dispel Magic on the ice wall.
This isn't magic.
Isn't it a magical effect?
I don't think so.
No?
Is key magical? This is an important question. It all depends. It is DM based. The wording of key does not say that it is magical, but it is up to the DM's discretion. Same thing with divine smites, fun fact, and divine senses, not technically magical effects. So it's up to, those are two things that are not labeled as magical or non-magical.
Hmm.
Fun fact.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
You can always do a higher low if you
But
don't.
it does say magical effect as well
Yes.
for dispel magic.
Mm-hmm. It has to be a magical thing to dispel it.
Okay, hold on. I need to get Kobe's opinion. Can you come over here?
The next question is, would Douse notice this?
1 second. Kobe,
Mm-hmm.
just to explain the situation. Douse cast this Shape of the Flowing River with his key points,
Hi,
right?
Kobe.
To basically create an ice wall between him and between Esmond and Nuri.
Okay.
Nuri's trying to cast Dispel Magic on it,
Uh-huh.
but technically, like, key isn't labeled as a spell. But this is dispelling a magical effect. And then also Douse is saying that if Dispel Magic works on it, will he be able to know if his thing is broken? So... what's your
It's
thought?
complicated. It's
For
a
me,
multi-layered
I would allow
problem.
dispel magic to work. Douse
It
would be
is-
aware that it was dispelled. Yeah.
Okay. Alright,
It's
you guys
fun.
heard My
I
husband.
didn't hear that well.
Not quite.
Wait,
not
what'd you
quite.
say?
Purposes of
Okay.
making
What's the
monks,
decision?
like, actually non-magic. It's
Okay.
really weird.
Yeah. So, what is happening is dispel magic will work.
Oh.
As it is a magical effect.
Okay.
But
Isn't the effect making the wall though? That's what I thought it was.
yeah,
maybe
so I'm not saying that that's like the hard reason why, but I would say like for the purposes of it being like a conjured thing, you know, I'll say that it can be dispelled with dispel magic.
Okay.
But you do know that it got dispelled.
Oh yeah, Douse immediately throws the door open and jumps on Nuri.
Well, once the door opens, she just like looks back, kind of like, "What the heck, bro?"
No, he is.
And then you
warden.
jump on her.
He's warden mode, so he's not letting
He's
you.
warden mode.
Okay. It's contesting for grappling, right, or something like that.
So it will be strength against strength.
As the defender, can I choose dexterity though?
Yes?
Yes.
Both of you can choose which one you use.
Yeah, you guys can
Either-
choose
Attacker
which
has
one.
to do strength, though, right?
I don't believe so. In contested grappling check, does the grappler have to do strength, or can they choose
Grappler
dexterity?
and the grapplee.
Grappler has to do strength.
Grappler has to do strength, but grapplee.
Target can do athletics or acrobatics.
Okay, so grappler has to do strength. The target can choose athletics or acrobatics.
Cool.
Okay.
Well,
Kobe
I
has
don't know
like
how this.
has like the book ingrained in him.
I also don't know how much this works turn-wise. If I would have time to do that before she does anything to us.
Nuri rolled a 7.
well,
She dispels magic.
you jump in.
You're instantly notified.
Mm-hmm.
She'll have like a few seconds, like 3 seconds or something, before you swing open the door.
So I technically get a turn in then?
Yeah.
I'll say
I-
you can get 1 6-second turn before he's on you.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Because I don't want to mess up whatever you have planned
okay.
entirely.
So right before you jump in, she doesn't know you're gonna jump in. She has just kind of squatted on the ground in front of Esmond, and she's holding out her flask to him right as Douse bursts in and tackles her.
She's holding out the flask, like, here, have a drink. And Douse is like, no!
Tackles her immediately.
Okay.
Contraband.
Don't worry, that's a 6.
Oh, you rolled a 6? I rolled a 7.
So it's not like the greatest grapple as he attempts to like jump on you. And
He
like
slips
like
on the
this.
ice he made, like the ice that's left over, he slips on it. is what
yeah, there's like
happens.
some water. You kind of like slip and stumble a bit, and Nuri's able to use that to kind of shove you on the bed, and so you fall down on the bed. Nuri, is there anything you'd like to say or do?
He just jumps on her, she throws him off, and then she just like stands up. Some rage starts to come into her again, and she's like, Douse? I want to talk to him alone. Please.
And what's with that? He's going to point to your knife.
And she's like, looks down at her knife, and she's like, she'll just stab it into the bed right next to you. And she's like, I'm not gonna use it, okay?
Okay, I'm sorry. Tensions are high, and I want to make sure everyone's safe. And you dispelled the wall that I was trying to use to keep him safe.
My apologies. Thank you for trying to protect him. Now, if you'll please leave. I want to talk to Esmond alone.
All right. He does need his meal. You'll take your knife and leave.
Okay.
What did Douse say in that last moment?
Ami does need a meal.
Oh. Takes the knife and then leaves. Okay. Alrighty. Douse exits, and I'm assuming you go to the kitchen.
Yep.
And it is the middle of the night, just so you know.
Oh, he's gonna go check on Ami first, make sure see if he's awake, so he's not just waking up in the middle of the night. Hey, I brought you something.
Here, have some food. Okay, so we'll say that you're going over and checking that. For the time being, Nuri, we'll come back to you, as the wall is now gone.
Well, it works out. I actually had more spell slots.
You needed them.
Surprisingly. She just sighs and her shoulders sag as Douse leaves. And she's going to turn back around to Esmond. And how did he react to everything that happened?
So you notice that, like, most of the time, so, like, his head has just been, like, hanging. When the ice wall was there, you notice that he didn't really have a care. You dispelled it, and he didn't look like he was moving at all when you dispelled it. When Douse came in and tackled you, that's when he actually, like, looked up. But then you shoved him pretty quickly off onto the bed. And then he kind of, like, sunk back down again. And as you had that whole interaction, you noticed that Esmond seemed to just sink into himself. And his head's now, like, his arms are still, like, on his legs. But now his head is just leaning against the wooden wall, as he's just looking at you. And his face seems devoid of emotion. It looks empty.
So Nuri's going to go, not next to him, but, like, you know, an arm for him and an arm for her distance, so they could pass something to each other, but, like, that's as close as she gets.
Yeah.
And she's going to sit down on the ground as well. And then she's going to hold out the flask again. And, here, have a drink. It's whiskey. You like whiskey. So, here you go.
Dissociation, baby. He seems his eyes are still on you. And you notice that for, like, a full 30 seconds, he's, like, staring at you. And then his eyes will flick over to the whiskey. And stares at it for a couple seconds. And then back at you.
When he looks back at her again, she'll just take it off and take a little drink, and then hold it out to him again. So it's not poisoned.
And with that, he reaches out and he grabs the whiskey. His fingers just barely brushing yours.
Scandal!
Oh! So scandalous. And he takes a swig, and you actually, it looks like he's just downing it. And then he passes it back to you and, like, swipes his face a bit with the back of his hand.
She'll take it back. Is it empty?
It is empty.
She just sighs again and she'll put it in her bag. Now she knows.
It lost its magic.
Maybe. We'll see. As she puts it in her
Accidentally
bag.
Cast dispel magic on her own flask.
Okay, Seji, that was hilarious. Sorry.
Going from G to PG with the hand touch.
Oh my goodness. that's so
Wow.
Okay.
I know, it was spicy. That's the spiciest we've ever gotten, like, at all. I am sorry about that.
Are you
We'll
sure?
try to be better
It
about
was
that.
spicy.
We try to make this family friendly, guys.
I'm sorry, the hand touch. It was too much. I'm sorry, guys.
Well, it is Rosemary PG Studios. So,
Yeah, so we'll keep it PG.
As long as we don't hit that 13, we're good.
Yeah, we definitely did not hit that with all the alcohol in this.
And all of the murder.
You
And the
know.
murder. Yeah, no.
Yeah, don't
Okay.
worry. This is a PG-13 show.
Sorry.
We keep it within the bounds of family-friendly PG-13.
PG-13, yeah. Okay, sorry. She's put it back in her bag. And she struggles for a moment to just find any words. And so she just kind of starts talking. And, okay. I gotta not laugh while I'm doing this.
Sorry.
Everybody on this ship has a lot of meaning to me. My nephew, Dusty, he's my confidant and reminds me that there's still good in the world. Amaris, she's, well, the closest thing I have to a moral compass. Douse, though sometimes annoying, she has always been an example of what I should be aiming for. Ami's my motivation. Thea, well, as my older sister, she annoys me easily. But represents safety. Miles, well, I don't know much about him, but he is important, nonetheless. Maybe a future in-law? Maybe? It's confusing. But you are the past I can't forget. And the future I could have had. Maybe still could have. The king. Was a part of me I ignored. Actively hid. For over 60 years. I had hoped that maybe he'd get better. He'd be able to recognize me. Maybe. He'd be able to love me as his granddaughter. Wouldn't despise my origins. It's gone now. I am mad. I am hurt. But maybe it was a mercy that he's gone. He asked me just last night to let him die. So why did you do it?
For a while, Esmond is silent. And when he speaks, you notice that his voice actually cracks. And it sounds like he is holding back emotion. And his eyes lazily kind of make their way over onto you, but it doesn't seem like he can maintain your eye contact. He looks down towards your boots, and he just says, "It was for you." Nuri, and he falls silent for a moment before he looks down at the floor, and you can't see his face, and one hand just goes up to his forehead, covering his face even more. And you have only ever seen Esmond cry a very select few times. One, when Ami was born. Two, when Ami woke up from the coma. And three, in this moment. As this is more than, he may have let loose a few tears and had misty eyes, but at this point, you hear just a sob come out of him. And deep down, no matter what your feelings are for him, that is his sob is just, the one sob is just heart-wrenching. And he brings his other hand over and covers his face with his hands before removing them and looking up at you, and you just see tears and snot, ugly cry. And he goes, "Nuri, I'm sorry. I have made a lot of mistakes. And I've hurt you beyond imaginable. Everything I did to protect you and Ami, at least in my mind. And I'm afraid I've lost you."
The heart. Okay, high or low, Emily?
Let's go high, because we got high hopes.
Let it be known, all this is only happening because of Seji.
Good job, Sedgy.
Seji.
So all of that just proves to be a little too much for Nuri. And she is going to slide herself over to Esmond's side. And she's just going to wrap him in a hug, kind of like pulling his head down to her chest. And she's just going to hold him.
Seji.
Yippee!
And as you kind of like pull him in, he is just crying at this point, as finally Lucky, let's go. And he's crying as you are holding him. Things are different now. This is a very different man than who you first married. But still, even now, you see the bits, you see the pieces of him that you fell in love with. And I'm not trying to tell you how to think. I'm just saying you see some of these things. But he continues to cry, and after, if you aren't saying anything, he'll say something after a few minutes.
She doesn't say anything, but she does shed a few quiet tears again on her own. She's just holding him. He may or may not notice those fall. That's up to you, but...
Okay. Oh, I don't even have my dice with me.
Oh, you don't need those. What? You're fine.
Yeah, I'll leave them.
Go for
Use
you.
your digital dice, it's fine.
You're fine. Yeah, digital's great.
No, we need the dice. I gotta do a high or low. High or low, Sierra?
Should we have Seji roll it?
Ooh, I like that.
He got the bad luck out earlier.
Did they get the bad luck? No, it's Emily's high or low. She has to roll it. Those are the rules.
Well, she gets to roll it, but she gets to decide. She could have him pick. It's up to her.
I don't.
Or is
I
that giving
think-
too much power to the audience?
I would say for the purpose of this specific high or low, I'm gonna have Nuri pick.
Okay. Let's go low.
Seji, maybe for the next one. Okay. You do not know the outcome.
I'd just like to say I have a song that is called Never Go Back that just started playing.
Never go back.
Nice!
Oh my goodness, that's so funny.
Will you
There's no
listen?
turning back.
Will you listen to the advice of the music?
So, in this moment, as you both are crying with each other, right? And he is kind of hard crying, to the point you're kind of getting concerned. He's never cried this much. This is more than he's cried in, like, you would think his entire life.
Tracks.
Yeah. And I was gonna go low. Yes, there we go.
Same wavelength.
And he's crying, and after a few minutes, he pulls himself out of this grasp that you had him in, of like this hug, right? And you notice he wipes his face on the mesh material on his arm. And he goes, Why'd you do that? You hate me. You should hate me. I have, in my quest of protecting you and Ami and trying to make a better life for us, I've hurt you more than I could ever think of. You should hate me right now.
Nuri's gonna reach into her bag and she's gonna pull out the picture that Dusty drew. Well, text drew that Dusty gave her. And she's going to just unfold it and just lay it on the ground in front of them. I can't. I can't hate you. Everything tells me I shouldn't love you, but I do. But Dusty had told me that he thought I was better than I am. I tried to light a guy on fire recently. I burned down half a town. My attempts to save people in the town probably led to making it worse. All I can see in myself is everything I've done wrong. Everything I hate about myself, my actions. And I'm filled with a lot of anger. But he still tries to see the good in me. And I still try to see the good in you. And she kind of just doesn't say anything else as she's staring at the picture in front of her.
I don't think there's any good left in me. For the past 2 years, I thought I was Esmond Tameron. But in actuality, I was the Obsidian Knight. I thought everything I did was for the betterment of you and Ami. Nuri, I wanted to have a better future for you and for Ami. Gosh, I wanted to bring you to my homeland. But I couldn't. I've done nothing good the past 2 years. All in what I thought was the name of good. I don't deserve what you see in me. And he kind of actually scoots away from you, which isn't too far because you kind of are both in the like really tiny corner.
Yeah.
But he kind of stuffs himself more into like the corner, and leans his head against the corner again, like against the back wall, as he's looking at you. And as he goes, I've lost everything. And nothing seems worth it anymore.
What have you lost?
You, Ami, I lost the dream. And to think everything I did for the past 2 years, I lost that too. I was informed earlier that I was no longer welcome in by Nuvian's side. Greg, I just see the mouth of, oh, okay.
Big drop.
New drop, yep. Nuvian had promised me that if I did all this, I'd be able to bring you and Ami home to a better place. And well, in doing so, I've lost you both. And Nuri, I'm sorry, eternally, for everything I've done. If I could go back to that day, I'd make a lot of changes.
Like what?
Well, for starters, I would not have dropped a building on you. I would have fought those drow off. Taken you and Ami somewhere secret. Somewhere they couldn't find us. We'd be on the run, but we would have been together.
A tear starts to roll down her cheek again. That's all I wanted. Esmond. You haven't lost me yet.
At this, he actually, makes eye contact with you. Kind of in disbelief.
Not saying it's gonna be easy, but in leaving Vivian, some trust can be built between us. She kind of like looks down at the drawing in front of her. Amaris says to try. She told me to try. For Ami's sake. Try to be better. I've been spiraling for the last couple weeks. But you can try too.
If what you say is true, then I'll try. He kind of rubs his nose. Still a little leaky, but he anything you ask of me, Nuri. And I mean anything. I will do it. And if you ask me to leave and never return, I will do it. You have but to say what you wish.
Hi, hello, Emily.
Hi.
Just give it to him.
Nuri's gonna close the distance between them that he had created.
It's not that much of a distance.
Yeah, it's a very, it's a little scooch.
She scooches closer.
And she's going to just lean her head on his shoulder. I need you to never leave.
You say that, and you can hear his he takes in kind of a shaky breath, and you feel one of his arms gingerly wrap around you, and he kind of gets close to your head, and you hear just the faintest whisper as he says, "As you wish."
She has his arm around her. He just says that, and she'll let out a little sigh, not like a sigh of sadness, but more of a sigh of relief. And she will tentatively just like hold a piece of his sleeve on this hand that's like over her shoulder. And she's gonna just close her eyes as she's leaning against him and she's just gonna stay there pretty much for the rest of the night and take her rest that way.
Oh, okay. And he will stay there by your side and also rest. Yeah, Seji, my heart's melting too. I'm like, ah! So cute.
So does anyone want to update me on what happened?
Did you have to step away?
Yeah, she did. She was gone for a little bit.
For those watching, it's actually my brother's birthday today, so happy birthday to him.
Happy birthday.
I just
Happy birthday.
stepped out a bit for some cake and presents and all that.
Very good.
Oh, fun.
Long story short, because this is a cool time to debrief as well anyway. But long story short, Nuri and Esmond did not kill one another or each other. No death happened. All of the lives are still had. And even better, they have reconciled somewhat, tentatively. They have reconciled with each other. Which I think is probably the good option. It's probably the good option. I mean, if the guy genuinely wants to change and stuff, yeah, it's fine. But it all depends. It all depends.
Both
You just
Nuri
put
and
his
Esmond
trust
are
in the wrong
awful.
place. That's all it is.
Yeah. Oh, also, small note. He broke away from the Heralder. Well, I guess it sounds like he got kicked out of the.
He was fired.
Yeah, he was fired. So, there's that.
He lost his job.
Lost his job. Yep. But that's
Place
pretty
be
much.
toxic. I quit.
No, it's more of, we're firing. No. It's more of, we're letting you go. And he's like, huh? After 2 whole years?
We're going in a different direction. Let go.
You're a little too. How do I put this? Your alignment is leaning too much in the good direction.
More like, your wife is usurping all of my plans. Get out of here.
Leave.
And I can't
Yay.
convince you to go kill her.
Become soft.
Okay. I want to know, though, what Douse is going to react to when he sees this when he goes back to his room.
He
So-
hears nothing, and then it's like there's more nothing, and then the nothing gets
It's like-
very
And
piercing.
So, Douse, when you had left originally, you went to the bedroom that Ami was in. And you actually see, because this room has like a bigger bed, you see both you see Granny and Ami are in the bed, not like under the covers or anything, not like weird, but Ami is sleeping on the bed, and you notice that the Granny is kind of like hugging him. He's kind of snuggled up into her, and she's laying back on the pillows, and they're resting. And you see Rain Nymph is currently like what looks to be like grabbing. She's kind of leaned down into a bag, one of the bags that they had brought with them, and she's like reaching out and trying to like grab some things very quietly.
Okay. I mean, he might check with Ray Nims and be like, hey, everything good in here? Like, just checking in on you guys.
Are you whispering?
Very softly, yes.
Okay. You say that, and she actually jumps.
Sorry.
And she's kind of like, oh, yes, I just... and she's like purposely not looking at you. And you notice that in her hands is like an armful of like clothes. She goes, is there, like a big tub or something that maybe I could rinse off in?
Yeah. I can show you around. I just wanted to... Ami doing okay as well?
Yes,
No, he hasn't really eaten anything.
he's resting. He's sleeping.
Okay, yeah. You'll give her a quick tour of the place.
Okay, so she, like, kind of is shoving her face into the clothes as you kind of, like...
Take her on the way to the bath, making that his direct destination, but pointing things out as they walk.
Okay. As you kind of are, like, pointing things out as you guys go, and you show her to where there's, like, a room where she can kind of, like, wash off. There's a lock on the door, kind of a thing. She just whispers, well, not whispers, because at this point there's no one else around. She's like, thank you, Douse. Thank you, Douse. It's a very nice boat you have here.
It's not my boat, but thank you. It was actually made by Miles.
Oh, the brown hair dude?
Yes. I believe that he's up deck, on top of deck.
Oh, yes. I remember seeing him briefly, but went inside pretty quick.
It does seem like all of the chaos has died down, so you can feel free to roam about once you're done with whatever you gotta take care of.
Oh, okay. Thank you. High or low, Douse?
Let's go. We're whispering, so we're gonna go low. Oh, we were whispering.
Okay. As you guys are kind of like is having this conversation and you're walking towards the place, she actually she's kind of like still stuffing her face in the clothes, and you notice that she actually like bonks into like a pole. One of the like the mast underneath the deck. Oh. Sorry, I'll wait until Douse is okay.
Sorry, sister was asking me a question.
No, you're good. Okay.
Okay, so
you notice that like at one point she accidentally like bonks into like a pole because she's not really seeing much.
sorry. He's gonna do like little cure wounds.
Well, all the kind of like everything she was carrying kind of like falls to the ground. And you actually catch a glimpse of what it seems that she was hiding. And you notice her face. That she does not have the mask on that she normally wears. Let me pull up what you see. I'm gonna make this big for you. Oh. So what you actually see is what looks to be acid burns all across half her face. To the point that like part of her lips have been burned off, and so you just see the teeth.
He would give pause to that.
One of
pause. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, her eye that was behind the mask is dull and gray, and she just has all of these burns, and it looks like her flesh is just mutilated.
Okay. He gave a little bit of pause to that, not expecting to see this. But then he'd kind of just go like, I'm so sorry. He'd finish the cure wounds on her forehead and then start helping her pick up stuff and just kind of keep going. He's not too bothered by it. He's like, well, things happen. Like there's veterans out there who have worse type of stuff. So it's like, I'm not going to dig into it. That's her personal business. Respecting boundaries here. Boundaries are healthy, people.
Boundaries are healthy, yes. I love the metal pipe SFX from Seji.
Yeah. He might make kind of like, hope that wasn't from the hole you just ran into. And just kind of like.
And you notice that her cheeks just flush red. And she goes, no, it's from my past. Thank you. As
Completely
she grabs.
fine. You don't have to tell me anything about it you don't want to tell me. Let's get you to the bathtub.
Thank you. I appreciate it. As she grabs the clothes that you hand her, and she heads off into the bathroom. And we're gonna say it's in here, up near the map, to the
I am
helm.
seeing 2 of her.
Yes, I'm gonna delete the other one off.
Okay. Yeah, Douse would give her the occupied sign that she might have to hang over the knob and then head on out.
Alrighty, and you can head off.
Return to his warden duties.
Yes, and as you return, it's strangely very quiet in there.
He's going to be as stealthily as he can. He's going to try and crack open the door to get a peek as to what happened.
Okay. You crack open the door and peer inside, and you see a very peculiar sight. Nuri is actually leaning into Esmond, and Esmond has an arm around her, and they both have their eyes closed and seem to be breathing steadily.
He'll close the door, not lock it, but he'll close the door, and he'll just stand outside sentinel, because, I mean, we still have an assassin on the boat, and the other people who may not be happy.
Alrighty. But how does Douse react?
Relieved, actually, because it's shown up previously, but he doesn't like killing in general.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, okay, no one's died. And they're good. I don't have to do anything here.
I don't have to make it so they don't die.
Yes. And so he's just gonna close, and he'll lean up against the door and just kind of. If he nods off, eventually he nods off, but he's more just there against the door.
Okay, alrighty. And the night passes, and morning dawns. Starting off with Douse, you have a bad crick in your neck from leaning against the door and kind of dozing off there. And yeah, everybody wakes up. Nuri, at this point, when you wake up, or come to in the morning, you guys are actually more in kind of like a laying position, where your legs are kind of spread out and you're actually leaning more into his chest, and it seems like your head is over where his heart. And
Scandalous. Okay, keep going.
listening to his heartbeat. Wow.
Keep going.
And his arms are wrapped around you, but as
Okay, they didn't share a bed. They shared the floor. They didn't share a bed. We're good.
They're married, guys. It's fine.
she's super married.
Super married.
To that guy.
You're that guy. That's true.
I was more pointing out our PG rating's still good.
Nah.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, PG. Let's see.
Okay, so they're on the ground. Just
Yes.
woke up.
So you just wake up. Are you shifting, moving?
For like a minute, she doesn't move. Doesn't even shift her weight at all, because she just is like, is this actually happening? Doesn't move. And then after like a minute, does it seem like his breathing is still like a slow, like steady sleeping rhythm?
Yes.
Okay. She thinks he's sleeping. So she is going to just shift her weight to like see, is he actually asleep?
The moment you shift your weight, you notice that his breathing like quickens. He gets a little bit more tense. And as you kind of like you shifted to see his face, you notice that his eyes flick open.
She has a small curse under her breath. She's
He is very light sleeper.
She is going to adjust her head again, so she's back to where she was when she woke up, and she's gonna just stay there for a moment.
You say what?
No, I don't say anything. She just adjusts, and she's gonna stay there.
And
Doesn't say anything,
looking at him.
No, she adjusts to how she was when she first woke up, so like her head's facing the wall, her head's still over his heart.
Okay.
So she was like looking up, and she's like says the little curse word, and then she's gonna adjust herself, so she's looking at the wall.
She's like, and yeah.
This is my spot. I will not be moving.
Yeah.
I love that. Also, MB Swap saying to have a mimic toilet. That would be. Oh my gosh, that would be cruel.
And that's where Ray Nymph is. Oh no!
No.
Oh no!
Should never have left her alone.
She went back
So
to-
sad. Oh well.
Alrighty. So you kind of like shift where you are, and go back to just like facing the wall, and Esmond just continues to lay there, and now he's just watching you.
Okay.
You notice a tiny, tiny, tiny little smile appears on his face.
She will continue to just lay there, not really daring to move in case it would like oh, time to get up, you know, like no, she just lays there and tries to prolong it as long as she can. She just doesn't want to move. After 2 years, she feels like she finally has him back.
No. Okay. That's what you're doing. Everybody else, what are you doing?
Marissa's gonna go check on Ami.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Douse probably did not get a lot of sleep because he doesn't have a bedroll or anything. He's just on the hard floor.
I'm sorry,
So-
Douse.
He's most likely going to be the last one awake and did not sleep well.
Oh, poor Douse. Okay. Amaris, you exit out of your room to find Douse lying on the floor in front of his door. First things first.
She just like stares at him and then like just gives him a little kick. Like not hard, but just like nudges him with her foot.
He's gonna slump to the side and not really wake up much.
You okay?
What? What time is it?
If there's a window, she's gonna like peek out the window.
It's about mid-morning.
She's gonna like look back at Douse and just like, you never sleep in this late.
Yeah. It was a late night.
Is everything okay?
Yeah. Just letting the lovely couple enjoy the room.
Oh, so they made up then?
I mean, that or exhausted each other out and fell asleep in each other's arms. I'm not sure which, but Pretty sure they made up.
What do you mean by exhausted each other out?
They fought a bloody battle, and they both just fell unconscious at the end of it.
Emotionally exhausting, you know. Emotions could be tiring sometimes.
Okay. Sorry, I had to clarify really quick.
Like, never get into like a high stress situation and finish like,
Yeah,
that was hard. I don't want to. I'm done.
yeah. Arguments get like that sometimes.
Yeah. This reminds me of the first time, like, I was testing out the campaign. Yeah, Sierra knows exactly.
Ooh, Sierra, do tell us.
Secret lore.
No. Maybe off camera because this didn't happen in this campaign.
Yeah, we don't want to say anything that people will
Secret
think
lore.
is actually canon in this, because
It's not canon in
It's
this
not
one. It's
canon.
not.
Fair enough.
Awesome.
Sierra, you got so red. Anyways, so Douse, Amaris just woke you up. Oh, and Amaris just left.
No,
I
Amari.
just disappeared.
She's back.
Hello. It's great because we see her before the audience sees her, so
Oh yeah, sorry.
I
had to,
was
like, add her back
rewatching
in.
last episode. We started talking about Lego Ninjago lore, and the audience got none of it. It was pretty awesome.
No.
Yeah,
so
it's because I have to click the show on stream whenever she reconnects. So.
Oh well. Oh well.
I mean, it's a good safety in case anyone ever gets into this room. But yeah.
But yeah, Amaris and Douse. You woke her up and then
Yeah.
something.
Douse will probably head off to start making breakfast for people.
You
Very slowly because he's super stiff.
you kind of feel like water as you're walking along. You feel like water from your bracelet is like coming out, and it goes up your arm and up to your neck, and you actually feel like you're getting like a water massage, kind of like rubbing out the like tense points.
He's gonna get to the doorway, feel that, and just be like, oh, like, just that like relief moment.
Hands off way Douse is spoken for.
Wait, who said that?
Melody Wolf.
I like to think that the super married joke extends to every character, even those who are not in a relationship at all.
He's super claimed.
So claimed.
He only has so many parts of his soul left.
I mean, that's true.
So you kind of get that, and she says nothing.
He will, not like for the first time, but for one of the purest moments of just the honest, like, thank you, and then keep going.
You feel like she has acknowledged it, but she does not say anything. Alrighty, Amaris. So after that whole encounter with Douse, you head into the room where Ami is, and you open the door and you see Ray Nymph laying on the ground on a bedroll. And then the granny looks to be like slowly coming to, but then like also going back to sleep. So you kind of can't tell, because she's like she'll like snore, and then she like is like awake for a couple seconds, and she's like, huh? And then she's like back asleep, snoring again. But But you see Ami, who is now laying on the pillows, and as you open the door, his eyes just like open up immediately, and he just like looks towards you, and like a little grin like starts to crawl onto his face.
She smiles back, but what's going through her mind as she sees Ray Nymph on the floor, she's like, why is everyone sleeping on the floor now? But she does smile at Ami and just quietly whispers, good morning.
And he's like, morning. As he's like trying to whisper, he's like, morning. And you see him like trying to crawl off the bed, and he's like trying to tiptoe across all the boards, and then he finally manages to make it to the door to where you are, and he just like reaches up, kind of like, give me a hug.
And yeah, she's giving him a hug.
Okay. So you guys are hugging. Are you gonna close the door then?
Yeah, so she's gonna close the door and she's just gonna be like, are you hungry?
And as if on cue, his stomach growls. He goes, yeah, really hungry.
She giggles a little and is like, all right, a friend of mine is making breakfast. Would you like to go get some?
Yes, please.
Is that all Douse is to you? Just kidding.
A friend?
That's the best. That is the best. Oh, shoot. My connection is gone again.
Oh, we hear
Oh,
you.
no.
So there you go.
There we go. Hi. Okay.
Hi. Hello.
Like, you all just froze for me.
Oh no.
So, they're gonna head over to where the kitchen is to get some food.
Food.
Okay. Alrighty. You guys head down there, and Ami still looks like pretty tired, but it seems like he's gotten a lot more like energy. I believe he still has 2 levels of exhaustion, or 1 or 2?
2.
2 levels.
Because he had 3. And he got like a short rest, but you have to have a long rest.
Mm-hmm.
And that was his first long rest. So.
Okay.
Did Douse get any exhaustion from not sleeping in a bedroll? Or is that...
High or low?
Hi?
You did not gain any exhaustion. Alrighty. So, Amaris, you head down the stairs. Dusty, what's going on?
This is a good question. Dusty is going to. Here, hold on. Let me. Nice. My job has been concluded. So Dusty, he's going to. It's like throughout the night he heard a couple noises, but nothing too, like, scary enough for him to like jump out of bed. But at this point, he's been like thinking in his room of what needs to happen next. So eventually he decides on gathering everybody together. That's an important thing. Maybe introductions. Actually, he would realize first it'd probably be good to talk to Esmond specifically. Because he has some very important questions for him. So Dusty would go from his room over towards where Esmond is staying. I knew that Douse had him in this room over here. So He's gonna approach the closed door, and he's just going to like knock.
Okay. At that knock, Esmond opens his eyes again, and kind of like shifts Nuri a little bit, kind of like nudging a little bit.
She groans in annoyance.
He's alerting you to the noise.
Yes, she's also groaning in annoyance to that. She kind of just makes that kind of noise, and then she will sit up reluctantly. And she's going to just sit there for a moment on the floor, like glaring at the door. And then she's going to go and open the door.
Okay. As she's like opening the door, Dusty makes a comment, something to the general effect of, "Did everything go okay? Keeping an eye on him last night, Douse." As you're like opening, he's like, "Oh, Nuri, I thought Douse was watching over Esmond. Apologies."
There might be like just a distinct Douse-shaped watermark along the floorboard,
On the
He's
door.
like,
door
he's
frame.
just, like looking down. It's like, well, I just was trying to see if I could ask Esmond a few questions, but if you two need time, that's totally all right. And he kind of like puts his hands up as sort of a "it's up to you" sort of motion.
Behind you, Nuri, Esmond does, with a groan, get up to his feet.
She's going to open the door, and she's just like, "It's already gone."
Oh, sorry.
You ruined the moment.
I just need to. And he's like, just need to talk.
She opens the door for you to come in.
Okay. He'll walk in. He sort of like enters in, and he says, "Nothing I'm going to ask. Esmond requires you to leave, so if you'd like to, you can stay." And then he turns towards Esmond, and he basically says, "Hey, I just wanted to clarify a few things before we went and introduced everyone to everyone."
Yes, of course.
So, yesterday you seemed to be talking to Nuvian through some sort of telepathic communication.
Yes, he
I assume
was casting sending on
Okay.
me.
I just wanted to clarify. Is there any chance of him, like, seeing where we are through you, or hearing our conversations while you are here? Perhaps a magical item you're carrying, something we could drop off.
He could have a mage cast scrying. He himself cannot cast it.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify. In that case, I believe scrying can be detected with detect magic, so as long as we have some form of the spell active, then we should know if we're being watched or not. He just kind of like shakes his head. He's like, I would like to respect Nuri's will on all of this. Of course, I don't want to be casting spells on you without both of your permission. And he turns towards Nuri, almost as if to ask you for, like, is this okay to do?
What are you doing?
I would just be keeping up detect magic as we're walking around, just in case someone does cast a scrying spell or something to watch Esmond here.
Of course. I trust you completely to do that. She's actually gonna go over, she's gonna pick up the drawing that's been sitting on the ground the whole time.
Just watches her. Okay, and at this point, he's going to... Haha, he does have it. Okay, good. Yeah, I do have ritual casting. Let's go. Okay. So he's going to ritually cast...
Detect magic.
Please detect magic, yeah.
Do you want to throw it into the chat?
Yeah, let me pop it into the chat. I believe detect magic works. I'm not actually 100% sure. It's magic. A faint aura around any visible creature or object in the area that bears magic. If you learn the school of magic. Does not see affected creatures. It would actually have to be... What is that? Not detect magic. It's the other one. The other level 1 one.
Detect good and evil?
No, identify.
Oh, okay.
Identify would have to be
Okay.
cast. Let me just double check, make sure druids actually can cast identify.
So you
don't-
cast detect magic,
I will
and you
cast
do
it.
not see anything currently affecting Esmond. What you do see is that his weapons that he has, that he owns, do reek of magic. Evocation magic.
Evocation. Ooh, okay. Interesting. Good to know. Yeah, identifies first things. Crazy. Can I learn
And
it?
whatever school of magic a bag of holding is, he also has that.
That's a good question.
Yeah, so there's stuff within the bag of holding that you can't tell right now.
Transmutation.
Interesting.
Maybe? I'm actually
Maybe.
not sure. What school of magic is a bag of holding?
Probably enchantment.
Conjuration?
Yeah, conjuration, enchantment.
Maybe.
One of those.
Don't know.
A bit.
Those schools of magic, we use them so frequently.
Whoa.
It's so.
It's abyssal magic because inside the bag is an abyss.
Also, in case anyone's curious, evocation magic, the one he has on his sword, is
Oh,
for
okay.
like
It is conjuration.
elemental effects and like. So think like firebolt, or lightning bolt, or ray of frost, or those are evocation. For the audience's knowledge. Okay. Dusty kind of nods at this. He says, are you... I mean, you and Nuri have clearly been able to talk a little bit. I'm glad. Are you dangerous to us? Is this like... Are you willing to, like...
Not,
Like, you're not planning on harming anyone, I assume.
not purposefully dangerous towards you. Maybe accidentally. Clumsy trip or something. But I will not harm you all.
Okay.
Unless Nuri wishes it so, but I don't believe she will.
I agree.
Nerd becomes a BBEG. Kill them all.
Kill them all. This is the time. This was the moment I was waiting for.
All Nuri has to say
I
is,
mean,
Dusty, I need you to kill Esmond. Esmond, kill Dusty. Then they start fighting.
I'll-
No.
I'll just say this. I made 3 NPCs that were to be the strongest NPCs in the game. Esmond is one of them.
Good.
So you're saying Nuri has her own personal attack dog now?
Yeah, more like
Epic.
you have your own personal assassin.
Epic.
Yeah.
I'm just teasing.
Good. Okay, so with this, Dusty, he kind of like nods. He says, "Okay, well, that is a relief. I was just curious as to like information, if you were passing any information along, those kinds of things. It's important. I figure we're going to be meeting up with everyone, and we need to be able to trust you to share information with you. Are you willing to tell us about the Heralder?
Anything you'd like to know?
Okay. We should probably group up and talk then. I'll give you guys some time, but we'll meet you outside. Probably should get some food too. Always forget. Anyway.
I am a bit famished.
Alright. Kitchen first. We'll have a talk after.
Alright.
Nuri will follow Dusty out the door, but as she does, she pauses out the door looking at Esmond expectantly, kind of giving the sense that she's doing a callback to what she said last night, that he isn't supposed to leave her.
Yeah, no, he's right by your side. He is not
Yay.
leaving you.
Good. Okay. Dusty's gonna... He, like, takes a couple steps, he looks back, and you can see he's looking at Esmond as he's walking behind you, and he says, Nuri, you can lead him towards the kitchen. I'm gonna go grab the others. He seems a little bit, like, awkward, and like he doesn't want to walk with you guys.
He's like, I don't want that.
But he's just
Right.
like...
Thank you, Dusty.
Yeah,
I'm just
of course.
moving him down there. But he's following you.
Okay. And then Dusty's going to go to the rest of these closed doors and knock and grab people.
Okay. You wake up Granny and Ray.
Okay.
And are able to bring them all. Let me come down to the kitchens. Get a zoom here. Zoom going. This is a packed area. Okay.
Many people.
Would Douse have the stuff he needs to make pancakes?
Yes, you can make pancakes.
Okay. That is the menu for this morning. Pancakes and eggs.
Pancakes.
And milk.
Nice.
I don't know. I just kind of like threw everybody right here, but you guys can put yourself wherever you specifically would like to be.
This is a good question.
So, as you are making the pancakes, Douse, Thea and Miles come in together, and Miles is like, "Oh, it smells heavenly in here."
Thank you. Watch your step. There's a bit of a puddle right there. You basically power washed all the oatmeal from the previous night into the bucket. It's just kind of over there on the east side.
Oh my gosh. And he's like, "Oh, all right, thank you." As he goes and he dishes himself up a plate of pancakes, and he also dishes up a plate for Thea, and then they kind of go off into the corner of the kitchen as they're eating together, just lightly chatting, and and then Amaris, you and Ami you notice that Ami is eating up the pancakes, just scarfing them down.
Whoa, slow down, little buddy.
And he's like, "But these are the best pancakes I've had in my life."
I know, but you don't want to upset your stomach. You gotta slow down.
And he's like, "But they're so good."
I know.
Harbingers or Douse.
He goes up to Douse with this empty plate, And he goes, please, can I have more?
1 second. This one's got some chocolate chips for you. It's just like plop it right on.
And he's like, yes. He's like, and then he kind of tugs on the bottom of your robe for you to like, and motions for you
He's
to
probably
like.
he's probably about my height.
Ah!
Hmm.
How tall would a 10-year-old boy be?
How tall is a 10-year-old?
They're like 4 foot.
Maybe, but he gestures you to like lean in close, kind of a thing. And he goes,
Hey, what's up?
between you and me, these are better than my mom's growing up.
I won't tell her a thing. I'll give it a wink.
and he's like, will you cook for me? Just forever.
Nuri, you have been replaced.
On the cooking side, okay? The cooking side.
On the cooking side.
Also, quick Google search reveals about 4 foot. It's 54 inches, 54 and a half inches is the average.
Okay.
top result.
I thought Dallas
That's like
was 5
a little
feet.
bit than 4. No, he's like 4, 5, 4, 6, 10.
So yeah,
So he's maybe a head taller.
Okay. So not like
Not by
that
a lot.
crazy. I always
Yeah.
forget that Dallas is short.
short man.
Short.
Yes, Dusty is the behemoth of the group. Towers over everyone.
So Ami is greedily eating up his pancakes, and now there's chocolate smeared on his face. After a little
You could
bit,
say that Douse is on a stool if you want, and that's how he's at this grill.
it's like, Douse, get me the good stuff.
I got you, bro.
I love this. Douse the greenest green flag. We stand Douse, the shortest of the short kings. Yes.
That is gold right there.
That's
You're
amazing.
all those except for the greenest of the green flag. He's blue.
I'm gonna make that into like a really cute sticker, and we're gonna make it a sticker on the site. Someone screenshot that or something.
Which part? The green flag or the shortest of short kings?
Both. Just the whole text conversation right there.
I actually do have an idea of this, so if you want me to draw this out as a sticker, just let me know.
Please, if you've got the idea, let's do it.
Awesome.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay.
Rock on says she. I see that. Dabba-dee, dabba-die.
Love it. So after a little bit, Nuri comes in with Esmond in tow. And honestly, Ami is inhaling the pancakes with like his back towards the door that he doesn't even notice that they came in. He's just inhaling these things.
Nuri would go right up to Ami and just like kiss the top of his head, and she'll take a cloth and she'll wipe the chocolate off his face.
He's like, Mom.
Save me that for later, Mom. Come on.
As he's like complaining, and she just smiles. She doesn't say anything, but just smiles at him as she just wipes the chocolate off his face.
Ami is now Kirby. Yeah, so you wipe off the chocolate off his face, and then he kind of like grumbles a bit and continues eating. But once he finishes that pancake, he sets his plate down and he gives you a big hug.
She hugs him back too.
She's like, my boy.
Yes, big hug, and then another kiss on the top of his head. And then she's going to bend down in front of him, so she's kind of like at eye height because he's been sitting. Did you get enough to eat? Are you still hungry? Do you need more food? I can get you more food.
And you notice that he has a big smile on his face. And he just holds up his plate and he goes, more pancakes?
She's gonna just nod and she'll take the plate and she'll go to Douse and be like, do you have any more pancakes, please?
It's like his fourth helping. Oh, Douse, you're muted.
Quietly just saying these. What did you say, Douse?
Sorry, you're still muted.
Sorry. I didn't realize that. But he like looks over like, yeah, sure, I'll throw everything in. And he starts like empties out the rest of his flour and all that stuff to make more mix.
Oh,
Awesome.
thank you, Douse. I'll be sure to give you more money to buy replacement for this.
Appreciate it. It's kind of tight on the budget, but yeah.
You guys all gotta start contributing to the budget.
Contributing to the breakfast,
The food budget.
dinner.
Mealtime budget.
She'll give him 7 platinum.
Douse, you just were
Very
gifted
helpful.
7 platinum.
He was down to 1 platinum, so now he has 8.
Nice.
There we go.
If you're pitching in, he'll start like realizing that things are getting a little low. He'll start throwing out some apples for like sides.
Okay,
Alright.
she'll first grab an apple as he's making the rest of the pancakes. She'll go to Ami and be like, before you can have more, you need some fruit. Have an apple.
Nomi's like, kind of huffs and he's like, fine. And he goes and he like lazily bites into the apple.
She just watches and like is just fussing over him pretty much the entire time.
Mhm.
Helicopter parent, got it.
Yeah.
He just woke up out of a coma.
Yeah.
But he just got a
After
good night's
2 years.
rest.
Let him leave the nest, Mom. He's happy as on bed.
He's been
10.
sleeping for 2 years, the lazy bones.
The lazy bone.
Oh my goodness. You notice that Esmond himself is kind of like off on the corner. Just kind of like watching everyone. And after a minute of like watching everyone, and Douse, when you finally have like a new batch of pancakes coming in, I'll say that like Amaris, you're the only one that's probably paying enough attention to the atmosphere that you notice that Esmond is very much eyeing the pancakes, but he's very awkwardly like standing on the corner, like kind of afraid to mingle with the rest of the group. So he's staying where he is, but you can tell he looks really hungry. She's like, taking a sip.
Let him suffer.
She's gonna get a plate of food and hand it to him, and it's just like, you need to eat too.
And he kind of awkwardly is like, much appreciated. I know I've kind of screwed up a lot, so I'm sorry if I've done anything to hurt you.
She like looks between him and Amaris and
Yeah.
Ami.
And
You mean Nuri?
Nuri and Ami.
Nuri, sorry. Esmond, Nuri, and Ami. She looks between the three of them and then just shrugs. It's like, hey, you've made up for it. And that's what matters right now.
Thank you. I really appreciate your outlook. And, well, I hope that I can actually make up for everything I've done.
Amaris nods. And I know you can, and I know you will.
And then he just takes a bite of pancakes.
And she's gonna go join the others.
Okay. Alrighty, you do that. At this point, Dusty, you come in with Ray and Granny. They were down there, but they come in. They're like, ooh, pancakes? Of course.
Okay.
Douse, you feel like something has been slipped into your pocket.
I would also like to note that Douse was not planning to be cooking for everyone on the boat this morning. It was just like, oh, it's just, okay, Ami's here and Nuri's here. All right, just feed them up real quick. And also, it's like, everyone.
Everyone on the boat is getting pancakes.
He's going with it, but yeah.
If you look inside, are you going to look in your pocket?
He's busy making sure things don't burn.
Okay.
So he'll check it later.
Alrighty. Everyone, it seems to be pretty happy, eating the food, chatting. You notice that, like, Ray and Granny strike up a conversation. Better not be a love note. Ray and Granny start bringing up a conversation with Thea and Miles, and they're all just chatting, and Miles is like, so, you experiment with alchemical ingredients? And she's like, yes, and you experiment with actual, like, material components of, like, metal and this electricity? And he's like, yes, it's amazing. And she's like, that's amazing. I love researchers. They're just, it's so nice to meet a fellow scientist, you know. And he's like, oh, likewise. And Thea kind of looks over at Granny and she's like, kind of like makes a little like grunt. And you notice that the Granny kind of crosses her arms, and she's like a little gnome, you know, old grandma. And she goes, back at you, pointy ears. And Thea just is like, has a small smile, and she goes, I like you. And the Granny goes, get used to it. And, you know, kind of smirks a bit, munches on more pancakes.
Get used to liking me.
Get used to liking me.
Awesome.
I'll just say what I put in the text, but Douse will eventually start experimenting with the pancake toppings and making like faces.
Oh, cute. Everybody's loving it, especially Ami. Ami is like so down for this.
That's the main reason he's doing it, is Ami.
Nice.
Also, Seji's comment about Granny. We're PG-13.
Yeah, no, she wouldn't do that, but that is very
But
funny.
that's totally within character.
Yeah. As Dusty kind of gets here, he sort of directs, he sort of had directed Granny and Ray into the area, and he sees Esmond sort of off to the side, but Dusty kind of like looks towards the rest of the crowd, and he sees people just kind of enjoying themselves for a bit, and so Dusty will like let out sort of a sigh, as if, okay, things are going good, and then he will go up to Miles, and I'll sort of tap him on the shoulder and basically just say, I'll keep an eye out on the main part, just in case anything comes our way. Basically.
Miles is like, are you sure? You don't have to. I've set the boat to travel to our destination.
Yeah, it's just to keep an eye out, just in case. Want to make sure everyone stays safe. And he kind of like looks around. He says, I mean, this is the happiest the party's been in a while, so don't want it to get interrupted if I can help it.
Then why don't you enjoy it as well?
More important to keep it safe. It's my way of enjoying it.
Okay.
And he'll sort of like turn over as he's like walking. He looks over his shoulder. He sees like the pancakes and stuff, and he says, "It looks great, Douse. Good job."
Oh.
Take one with you on the way if you're not staying.
Sure. And he'll like take one in his, just grab one as he's walking, and then once he's out of view, he will actually eat it and try it. He hasn't had pancakes before, so.
I'm sure Dusty would really enjoy the pancake.
They are tasty.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be back for compliments later. But for now, he's on a mission.
Okay. You may head up to the top of the boat.
Okay.
After a bit, Nuri, you notice that Ami seems to be like pretty tired, even after getting a long rest, because he's got the 2 exhaustion. And it's possible that he just may need to get a couple long rests back to back just to sleep off his being brought back to life.
When seeing this, she is going to just kind of she like seems torn between like asking Granny to do it. It seems like she's like and she's like, I'll do it, and she's going to be like, Ami, I think we should get you back to bed. You look a little tired. You want to take a nap?
He's like, he yawns and he goes, no, I should be fine. Oh, that made me yawn.
How about we go take a little nap, and then I'll show you some cool magic afterwards, because you have to have your eyes wide open to see it. Like,
Really?
yeah.
Fine.
Okay. Come on. She's going to... Can he walk on his own, or is he still struggling to?
He actually seems to be like able to walk a lot better. He's still a little wobbly, as Amaris noted as they were like heading down, is that he is a little wobbly, but he's getting a lot steadier. You know, it's like remembering how to ride a bike.
Yeah. So she'll start taking him to his room. As she's leaving, she'll look back. Is Esmond following? Is he eating?
He is following. He has set his plate down and he is following you.
Okay. She just lets a small smile creep onto her face as they'll go put Ami to bed.
Okay.
And once they do, they'll quickly return. But
Okay. So, after this, you guys all finish eating pancakes. Doused, you're able to clean up after it. Nuri, you and Esmond go to put Ami to bed. Oops. Accidentally grabbed Amaris. Sorry. And I'm assuming you put him in your room.
yeah.
Okay.
Sheepishly tries to hide the scorch mark.
It doesn't seem like Ami notices, but Esmond definitely does.
Sheepishly looks away. Embarrassed.
So, are you guys all wanting to meet up with Esmond and have a chat?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's probably a good
Yeah.
idea.
Okay. Who would you like there in addition? Or would you
See.
like anyone else there?
We probably should have. I mean, it would be good for Thea to get information about this, because I mean, I'm thinking like pretty much everyone except like maybe Granny and maybe the alchemist. Like, I feel like everyone else would be good to have. Any objections? Any other thoughts? Comments?
I think main party, Thea, Miles. Not Granny. Maybe Ray.
Okay.
So yes or no on Ray?
I mean, I would be fine with Douse would be fine with her sitting in it. Just because, like, well, this is someone who's would give us another viewpoint, who's intelligent, and might have valuable insight.
Plus, it's good to have an introduction of her to the rest of the party, or to the rest of the group.
Okay.
Because I mean, we're taking all of these people to fight the BBEG, anyways, right?
Theoretically,
Yeah.
They are part of your party. But
Ami
maybe
as
not,
well, but we want him
not
to
for
see it
combat.
through filtered eyes.
Oh, trust me, a lot of you have played campaigns with me before, and you know that I love it when allies return for that final battle.
Yep.
Okay.
all right, we got everyone together.
Alrighty. So, at this point, it's past noon. It's probably around 1 or 2. Like, you guys have eaten.
Back to the kitchen to make lunch.
Nah, but it was kind of more like a brunch rather than a...
Yeah, no, I was making a joke.
Yeah, of course. So, you guys are all out here. Would you... Probably, are you guys in a private room or just out on the deck?
I would imagine on the deck.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that. There's less shadows here.
Less shadows, plus easier to keep an eye on things that are going around.
Plus, it's noon, so the sun's like directly on top, so there's really like no shadows.
Unless they're
Um,
being cast by your own bodies.
That's true.
Darn.
We can never escape. No.
Okay.
Okay. First things first. Dusty will ask Nuri to cast Identify on Esmond. Make sure that scrying is not currently a spell being used on her.
She will do so.
If you guys would like to position yourselves in the area, you can. You cast Identify on Esmond.
Shows any spells that are affecting the creature.
There are no current spells affecting him.
Nice. Okay. We're safe.
Nuri's
For
gonna
now.
cast it on herself as well, just because she is a little suspicious after her conversation with Azon.
There
Yes, it
are
is.
no spells cast on you that you do not know about.
Cool.
So I don't know if you cast Identify on yourself, and that shows up in Identify. You cast
Okay.
Identify.
Error message that just keeps going back and forth.
You've cast Identify. Identify.
Identify's been cast.
It's been cast.
You have Identify being cast on you.
You're like, ah! I
Who
know.
would like to proceed?
Great overload.
So with that, Dusty is gonna sort of start. It's like I guess I'll sort of start us off. First introductions, I suppose. For anyone who hasn't met, this is Esmond.
Gives a little wave.
There's Miles and would you like us to share your name?
I guess
Go
at
by your
this
moniker.
point, I trust you all will be cautious in revealing names.
She also does not know Esmond just killed the king.
Yeah, she has no idea. So
Yeah, she's probably not sure where he's at.
Yeah, Douse is specifically in between these two in case something happens. You can jump in between them.
Okay.
So Ray is like, it's fine. I'm Ray Nymph.
Okay. And then of course we have our group here. Nuri, you all probably know her. Dusty, Douse, and Amaris, another friend of ours.
He knows.
So, yeah.
Ray pipes up and she goes, I'm very happy to be able to join the team, y'all. It's it's good to make friends and to get outside, see the sunshine.
Yeah.
Don't like the dark and dreariness.
Sudden thunderstorm.
Yeah. It's good to make your acquaintances. If you ever need any potions, any remedies, I got you covered.
I have a few ideas I'd like to talk later.
Oh, absolutely.
Thinking of like things you can put in his food to make them taste better.
Love it.
Yeah. Well, sort of shorthand introductions out of the way. I guess our goal here, we've been sort of working to find a way to help against these comas and more recently the Wrens that we've been seeing. But I recognize that, Esmond, you may have some information that would be able to help us concerning at least some of these things, including the interworkings of what's been going on with the Heralder and that side of things. How involved are they in this? The resources, the fog, the Wrens, comas?
Well, it's kind of like, well, there's kind of a lot. The fog, I'm assuming you're talking about the mist?
Yes.
Yes, so... he's kind of like... I'm honest to goodness, I don't know where to start. Well, I guess I could start at the beginning.
Nuri just gives an encouraging nod
Gestures
as
to
she
continue.
pulls out her spellbook.
Alrighty. Alright, y'all buckle your seatbelts because we're about to get lore in here.
Ooh, nice pop.
Thank
Pull
you!
out.
Did you actually hear the pop?
Yeah, we did.
Yes! I got...
Pull out your notebooks. Make sure to reset your cork boards.
When he says that, Amaris just looks around, just like there's seatbelts.
About to get the lore.
Those won't be invented until Mark II.
Strap. The escape plan 2, portable version.
Well, give me, now that I'm thinking about it, let me pull up my notes document.
He has so much lore, she has to read it. So much. We're about to get the most clear information probably in a long time that we've had. So excited.
Pure unadulterated lore.
copy
Can I make a
paste that into
perception
our
check?
chat.
I just want to make a perception check to make sure like nothing interrupts us, you know? Just,
You don't have to roll. Nothing's hitting ya. Just
Let's
a little bit of a light
go.
breeze. You guys are traveling, what looks to be towards the mountains.
okay.
But again, Miles will make it known that he's like, I intend to talk about where we're going at the end of this meeting, but if you guys want to go somewhere else first, like, I'm all for it.
There is somewhere else we should go first, Nuri pipes in. We have another party member we need to pick up.
That's true.
Where? I'll reroute it.
Where's the map so we can see what
Dragondale?
it's
I think
called?
it's Dragonsdale.
Yes,
Dragonsdale.
Dusty.
Nice.
You say that, and you see Amaris like light up a little bit.
Oh.
Yeah, we are missing one more.
Okay, Miles will quickly reroute, and then Esmond will start. Does that sound
Okay.
good?
Yes.
Okay. Esmond goes, well, this all starts with a family. The family of what was my best friend, Nuvian. Nuvian Balvaris. Just the expression.
It's your fault, Greg.
I had nothing
all
to
your
do
fault.
with Nuvian's decisions. Just cause it's not Cassian's fault. It might be Cassian's fault. We'll find out.
If you
never
haven't
know.
watched The Scattering, go watch
Now's
The
your-
Scattering. It's pretty funny. We're pretty funny. Nuvian Balvaris. Well, Nuvian had a younger brother, and he also had a sister, but she's not, I hate to say this, but not terribly important to the story. But he had a younger brother named Davdan. And, well, the king of our country was, well, let's just say he's not the greatest. Well, and then you actually notice him, he pauses and he thinks about it. He's like, Nuvian always said he wasn't the greatest. Our country was amazing. It's where I wanted to take you and Ami. And he turns to you, Nuri. It's the place we've been fighting for. Fighting to bring you there.
And what's there? Where is it?
It's the land beyond the mist.
Okay.
Yes. The land beyond the mist. And, hold on, I gotta look at my document here. I'm gonna pull it over here real quick, because I want to see your guys' faces.
Okay. The brother's name was Dab Dab?
Yes, so, okay, let me write this in real quick. There's Nuvian Balvaris, and then there's Davdan Balvaris.
Davdan, okay.
Yes.
Dav, Dan. Neither of those are Dab.
Davdan. Davdan.
I heard bees in there, so I was like,
Yeah, neither of those are
Dab?
Dab.
what?
Dab.
No. No, Davdan.
Okay.
Got too many Dan Dane names in this story.
Yeah.
Dane, Douse, Dusty, Dav, Dan.
So, our people have been given a special gift from the gods themselves. One that made our land prosperous, insanely prosperous. And it was a wonderful life there. Lots of good people, good friends, my family. And, well, Davdan or Nuvian and I became close friends. And Nuvian and Davdan were the sons of the king, or are the sons of the king. But to me,
Okay,
it was
wait.
just
So Davdan and Nuvian
our
are
brothers.
the brothers and sons of the not so great king, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I mean, I always thought the king was a good guy, you know? That was until Nuvian told me that he was corrupt and was hoarding some of the prosper for just himself. And Nuvian told me that, well, that we needed to stop him, that he wanted to claim the Heartstone and, well, share it with people. And that's the gift that was given to our people from the gods. The Heartstone. It's what brought the prosperity. And, well, Nuvian got several friends, rose up quite a good amount of people, and we marched on the palace. And Davdan tried to stop us, to convince us that we were wrong, that Nuvian was lying, but I knew Nuvian. He would never lie to me. I had thought.
Well, you thought wrong. Nuri didn't say that, but just say it.
Well, when it's your best friend.
This is the if all your friends were jumping off a cliff, would you? Well,
Apparently.
the person telling the story probably would. Just saying.
Just saying.
Esmond was the guy who asked, well, it depends. How high is it? And he was told, oh, there's no bottom. He's like, okay, I'll jump.
Okay, I'll jump.
I trust you.
Yeah. And let me change up the music. We need something a little better. No, we need this one. Okay. And, well, we fought against the king. And from that, he used the Heartstone to curse us and cast us out of our homeland. And, well, let's just say I didn't used to look like this. Ami actually resembles me in my youth. And, what's here? What's that for?
Okay. It's just like, he used to resemble me, and then it's like, proof she didn't cheat.
Proof she didn't cheat!
Let's go.
Because she's like, he does not look like Esmond.
Yeah, she was very worried about that, for sure.
And Esmond would always be like, no, don't worry.
He looks
It's
just
fine.
like me.
Yeah.
I like to have this thought that she's just always been concerned about herself. Like, did I?
Did I cheat?
It's like, I didn't. Sorry.
How do we know if Nuri's actually the mother? That's
Oh my gosh!
everyone's like, who's the father? How do we know that she's the mom? The
Well-
one who gave birth to the child.
She's like,
Stretch
I
marks
mean,
to
I.
prove it.
The stretch marks.
That's right.
Oh my goodness.
That was pretty-
Yeah.
Keep going. I'm sorry.
No, it's funny. It's funny. Ami looks like what he does. I actually have a picture of Esmond, what he looks like. in
What?
his original. I won't show it, but
Okay.
maybe if his curse is lifted.
It can't be lifted.
If-
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
Fan art
Who
channel.
knows?
And Discord.
As he continues and says, well, we were cursed and banished from our lands and our homeland, and we came to this land. And Nuvian, being upset and distraught, he had us all go into hiding, and we took refuge within the forests of the Winter Court. Over time, I tried to help him feel at least a little bit better. You know, maybe this was all a part of the path we were meant to take, and well, Nuvian became bitter and wanted to remove this curse from our people, which, you know, I wholeheartedly supported. And his desire was that we return home and reclaim our land, and that he ascends the throne and we're able to return home to the land that was taken from us. And I believed in that, and I still do. Nuri, it's the most beautiful land you'll ever see. I still want to bring you and Ami there.
But not to overthrow the king, right?
I don't know anymore. I know that Nuvian has manipulated and betrayed me. And I don't stand for that as a king. Who knows, maybe his brother should be king. He was always a good kid. But
I got a quick question.
yes.
What is this Heartstone you mentioned? Actually, do you have Douse actually know what that is or no?
I feel like you do, but I don't know how. I'm trying to remember. I feel like this is something we've talked about.
May.
It's not like the stone he has on the heart of the sea.
It's not a bearer. It's not a heart of the thing. The Heartstone, you can ask about it.
Douse is asking about it.
Yeah. And he goes, the Heartstone is the heart of the god of prosperity given to our people.
Okay, just curious.
The,
You'll
the,
withdraw with that, like, still be like, because he's trying to also connect it now to the heart of the sea. He's like, how do these hearts keep just?
Dusty will ask, he says, the god of prosperity.
Yes, Heifer.
Heifer. He, like, cocks his head very visibly. Like, he's, like, really confused. He's like, how did that happen? I'm sure I don't even know if you know, like, how did...
I
He
don't know.
like...
I don't know exactly.
He relishes in Douse's, like, how do all these gods keep getting put inside of the jewelry? He's like, I'm just surprised that the heart of the god of prosperity. What does that even mean? The heart of the
Well,
you know, I never really.
Welcome to the
contemplated-
club.
He's like, yeah, I never really thought about that before, Douse, but yeah, that is kind of
He's
weird.
like-
How's that?
I mean, Douse didn't mention anything because he doesn't like sharing way publicly
Yeah.
with anyone. So
And you see Esmond's kind of like, as you guys are kind of like, he's like, well, I mean, it's part of our religion down there. Yeah, okay.
That's
It's
strange. Oh, well,
stories.
I
It's
knew
not
that-
like I've actually seen the Heartstone.
Yeah.
But you just said you got cast out by it.
Well, yes, but the king used the power from the Heartstone.
Oh, similar to how. Okay, yeah. And he's just like processing. He's like, okay.
Douse had like the brief alarm points of like, is Dusty about to like out me right here?
His face like drops. He looks over towards Dusty. Dusty's just like, okay, yeah, that's how that works.
It's making sense.
Strange. I'm sorry. Continue. Just mental note. Man, I would love to talk to her. Him. I would love to talk to the god of prosperity sometime. That would be interesting. Maybe one day. Anyway, sorry. Keep going. I'm
Yes,
taking us off track. And he just like zips. He motions. He zips his mouth.
Well, whilst here, Nuvian and I worked on trying to contrive a way to return back home, and well, we had to circumvent a god, literally. And so that was going to take a lot of work. I mean, we knew of the Harbingers, but there was no way Nuvian was going to be getting through those trials. And he tried. Not for lack of attempting. One of them. And failing miserably. So we diverted and started doing research. And, well, we weren't the ones doing the research, at least not too much. But we had a lot of people with us, those who had come with us after being cast out. And they discovered a way to harness some of the energy given off from the Heartstone. And that is what the rings were.
Wait. So the rings
The
are
rings that were placed...
siphoning the power from the Heartstone? Is that what he said?
They were to absorb the power of the Heartstone, to weaken it, to allow us to be able to return.
The rings on the monsters?
Yes. They had to be placed in various places, and well, Nuvian thought that placing them on creatures would make it safer, that they would not be touched.
That didn't work out as well as he had hoped.
We've destroyed like what, 2 now? Sucker.
I think,
Okay, keep going.
I think 2, yeah. Yeah, 2 of them.
I mean, there's a lot more than 2.
I would assume some. The one in the sewer, that monster you mentioned.
Yes.
assume it
How
has one.
many more, to be exact? Do you mind me asking?
To be honest, I couldn't tell you. There were so many.
Gang, we need to split up.
To be fair, I didn't think much of it. And when people started falling into comas, I still didn't think much of it. I didn't truly make the connection.
What connection?
Well, he kind of looks towards Ray and Nuri, and he's like, I think you both have figured it out as well. That these were not only absorbing the energy from the god of prosperity, and Ray pipes up and she goes, they were also absorbing the souls of people who died.
Nori's just nodding because, yes, this happened.
Dusty has a somber nod as well.
At some point during Nuvian's crusade, I was to go place one of the rings out on a creature out in the wilderness. And well, let's just say that quest took me a lot longer as he looks over at Nuri and just a small little smile. I met Nuri.
Douse is like, okay, wait. Is this before you're married? Or is like...
He's like, no, the coma started happening later on. I kind of backtracked a bit, but...
Oh, okay,
sorry,
okay.
I apologize. I'm a
Sorry.
little bit all over the place.
I was like, yeah, you knew her, and you met her.
I
But,
met
okay,
her
got you.
while placing rings. They just, I guess, didn't start sucking in comas until recently.
Gotcha.
So it's
Sorry.
possible that they may have been absorbing too much energy that they needed to start absorbing from other mediums.
What are the chances that it sucked up all the Heartthorn's energy and Nubian hasn't told you anything about this?
Well,
And thus keeping you guys here for no reason except for filling other needs.
well, Nuvian himself does not want to remain on this continent. He wants to return home. I think he is very close to making that a reality.
Okay. How's Thea taken all of this?
Thea actually seems to just be quietly listening, very contemplative.
Okay. Douse is still keeping an eye on them because that is the he sees this as the oil and kid with matches combination right here.
Yeah, it's not like super.
So, your people are separate from the Winter Court? You had mentioned that you were from the Mists
Yes.
initially. You were banished from there. But you're
Yes.
not necessarily a part of the Winter Court?
No, it's where we camped out originally, as there are more drow accepted in the Winter Court.
Huh.
But we felt out of place among them, even though we looked like them. Well, not fully, and he gestures to the markings on his cheeks. This was the only thing we were left with, marking our identity.
A lot of things just clicked in my head out of game. Gosh dang it, I have too much knowledge now. from the
What?
previous
Of
campaign.
Cassian?
No. It's okay.
I
Dusty
so badly
doesn't
want to
know. Now
What?
I've connected a lot of things in my head. It's okay. My corkboard has had another section added. It's okay. Dusty, he just nods. He's like, interesting. Is this all? Do all dark elves have markings like yours?
All the ones from from beyond the mists.
Interesting.
Are there more than dark elves over there?
Well, over there they aren't dark elves. I mean, some of them are darker skinned, but they aren't drow, if that's what you're meaning.
I more of like other races than just elves. My apologies.
If you look at Ami, they look like Ami.
I think he's trying to ask Esmond, were there humans?
Ah, no. Well, he kind of thinks, no, not to my knowledge.
So if there was a human who had those markings, are they from your land?
Are you sure? Did they just paint them on?
No, she was born with them. She was found in the water, kind of in that general area. No memory though.
Huh.
We say born with. She didn't have memory of long ago. It was more.
Yeah, she didn't
Well, it
have
wasn't
memory
a
of-
tattoo though. It wasn't painting or a tattoo. It was a birthmark for sure.
She
I
didn't
wouldn't
remember
know.
before then. Where she was found when she was like, how old? 14, 15?
12?
Young.
I do not know of a human who bears the markings, but
Strange. How would
So
that
they're
even
all
happen?
elves.
yes.
All elves. It would explain why she was able to speak Elvish if she was an elf, but she didn't have the ears for it.
I love how you guys are still trying to figure out Marilla's backstory.
I'm
She's vital.
She's crucial. In the back of my mind, I've connected a lot of things about her that Dusty does not know. That was my aha moment. I was like,
How about we leave those theories for next week's recap session?
Recap session. I will leave the theories. Dusty, he just kind of like shakes his head. He says, "Anyway, sorry. So, these rings that were placed on the monsters are siphoning the energy of the Heart of Prosperity, and then they're also taking the souls of people, hence the comas.
Yes.
However, the mist isn't. Is the mist growing out of dust? I forget if that was a pre-established thing.
No, so the mist has always been there.
Okay, it's just always been there. Okay, just wanted to double check. So, Dusty, he clarifies these things and he says, so then, I mean, where does that leave us? I mean, there's monsters. Do we have? I suppose we have to inform the guild about this. Then we could get some extra hands on taking down the monsters, but it seems like a band-aid solution. I think we really need to hit this at its core, which would
Miles pipes up, actually, and he goes, well, I think the bigger problem right now is, well, the wrens.
That's true. What's the deal with that? Do you know anything about that, Esmond?
Esmond he says, I know that they've been popping up and destroying places a lot. I don't know if you guys know about Ironwick, but Ironwick has fallen.
Oh, we did not know this.
Actually, pretty much that entire kingdom over there, or empire, or whatever the heck it is.
What? No way.
Ironwick? Where is Ironwick? Pull up the map.
I'm pulling up the map, guys. It is on the top right.
Top right. This one. Wow. In the
Thautia Empire.
Did he just say the entire empire's been destroyed?
Pretty much.
Dude, that's right. Oh, we're so close. Dragondale, no.
Yeah, I'm thinking about because I'm gonna draw on the map for. I gotta change the color of my pen. Hold on. So if this empire has been destroyed, right? We've seen the way that the rend works is it spreads. So theoretically, there's some arc between here and there where it's spread, or it's also possible that it just erupted from the ground here. So it's one of those two. But yeah, either way, this entire area here, it's about some pretty heavy danger for that area, which is pretty unfortunate considering the connections we have there. Dusty will ask Miles, he will ask him, how about where you were from before you were captured? Was there any word of Wren's over there?
I was kept pretty far away from information, excluding anything they gave me on research involving making and building things.
Yeah, but I mean before you were captured. Were there Wrens? Was there any word of that?
In Avalon,
Yes.
down on the bottom, Avalon Kingdom. Not that I remember. I've kept to my shop mostly, but
Hmm.
I apologize.
I see. It's okay. Yeah, we need to find a way to stop those Wrens. I've never really seen anything like it. It feeds off of emotion from what Nuri's testing will tell us. Frustration and arguments cause it to increase in size.
You seem to know a little bit more about those, Esmond. Do you know what they are?
Esmond kind of is like, I honestly have no idea. I know we've reported them, and they've popped up in the Winter Court a little bit, mostly near the eastern edge.
So Nuvian's not making those? Or
Not to my
controlling them?
knowledge.
The king seemed to recognize it. He said that he would refer to it as the darkness. He was impacted by the Wrens. When I went into his mind to bring him back, his spirit was broken into pieces. It sounded like Ami had a very different experience. Amaris, Ami's spirit was much more collected, wasn't it?
Yes, there was only one of him.
When the king died, tell me if I'm wrong, Emily, but I'm pretty sure, weren't they told that something exploded?
Well, the ship exploded.
No, when
Oh,
the coma
when he
died. Coma died.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
from
he
Azon.
mentioned that there was an explosion.
Yes. He said there was an explosion when he died, and the veins on him, when I touched the Wrens, it had a similar effect on me. With the black veins appearing.
Esmond, did you have anything to do with capturing the Winter King? Or do you know the process that happened?
Not personally, that was another drow under Nuvian's command. But yes, I do remember reading a report of Nuvian having wanted to capture him to use him as leverage. Miles at this point pipes up and he goes, I may know a place where we could get answers to what these are.
Sounds wonderful to me.
Where would it be?
Well, I need to be sure that no one here will reveal the location if I were to divulge it.
Dusty looks to Esmond.
Everyone looks to Esmond.
Everyone looks to Esmond. And Esmond looks at everybody staring at him and he's like, he kind of is like, oh, come on. And he goes, and you actually see him pull out his sword and he buries it into the wood. And
He's attacking!
And he puts both of his hands and he goes, on my life, I will not divulge this location willingly. And I will do everything in my power to make sure that it is not forcibly taken from me.
Okay.
And then he puts his sword back. And Miles is like, he picked that out pretty quick. But Miles goes, it's a hidden grotto down in the Abesta Kingdom, I believe. Let me just double check since we're on the map. Yes, hidden in the Abesta Kingdom. And, well, it's... Dusty, you remember when I talked about what you had that was very special about you?
Yeah.
Well... the Harbinger of Knowledge resides there.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
if you guys do not know what that means, she is a very ancient creature that knows so much. I studied with one such harbinger, the Harbinger of Diligence, for a very long time, and, well, she told me and trusted me with the location of the Harbinger of Knowledge should I ever need it.
I think that would be helpful. I mean, if they are as old as you say they are, then they should know a little bit about some of the history. How old are we talking, though? Like, what kind of a person are we expecting?
It's not quite a person. These are unicorns.
Oh,
Well, dang, Marilla would have liked that.
yeah. Speaking of, she would have liked that.
They are, I would say, as ancient as the gods themselves, but from what I know, they've been here since before the scattering. When the gods themselves got rid of all those big, large creatures, I guess they liked the Harbingers enough to let them stay.
Ah, yes, yes, it was the gods. Yes, keep going.
Yes, the gods.
Yeah.
We don't know that. Keep going.
Ah, yes, the gods. But if you want to know what happened during the scattering, go watch the scattering.
Watch the scattering.
All right, I'll do it right now. See you guys later.
Oh, no!
Bye.
Douse. Well, in 5 minutes again.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yes, yes.
As Miles says, well, if anyone's sure to know what the Wrens are and how to stop them, it'd be her, the Harbinger of Knowledge.
Well, I guess we should head to her after we stop at Dragondale.
Yeah, we need to warn them of the Wrens. Everyone needs to seek safety, hopefully in the west. If it is traveling from the east, then it's the only place they can really go to buy time.
DM, how vital is it for Douse to get his gems to Guy?
It's pretty important, but Miles will let you know that Guy is actually, like, really close to where the
Yeah.
Harbinger of Knowledge is.
Okay, because he's been like, we're gonna go past it, like, thinking about bringing it up, but, like, doesn't know how important it is compared to the Wrens.
Yeah, Way is like, we need to check out the situation.
Which one?
Which one?
There's a lot of situations, but we must go to the temples.
Yeah. Okay, I'm definitely going to ask that. Miles, Do you think we can make a quick stop at the Earth Genasi Monastery key along our ways?
Of course.
Thank you. Part of my pilgrimage is to drop off these gems. I want to make sure that it's taken care of.
Of course.
Thank you. Is everybody okay with that? Well, I guess this should be a group decision.
I mean, if it's not too out of the way.
It's very on the way.
I'm
Then,
down for that as long as we get Dane first. She
Of
needs
course,
to be the
yeah.
priority.
Of
Especially
course.
with the Wrens being so close.
I'm more of asking as we're going over the mountains if we can stop. We're not going over the mountains yet.
okay.
Yeah, right now you're headed towards the desert.
Oh. Desert.
In your flying boat.
Douse is going to be spending almost all of his time below deck.
He's like, out of the heat? Yeah.
Wow.
Well, let's just say that as you guys continue to sit here planning and debating your next move, planning to head to Dragondale to go revive and bring back Dane. Dane.
I'm right here.
Game Dane. NPC Dane.
Fake.
You all feel so much closer towards that end goal, towards stopping Nuvian. You feel like, well, that there is a shard of hope in your party.
Roll credits.
We'll catch you next season.
No. And with that hope, and with your newfound knowledge, let's see where this takes you.
Wow.
And with that, we'll end tonight's session with that lore dump, and hopefully you guys are excited for the shenanigans that are coming
Very
up
excited.
next. Is Dragondale about to get destroyed by Wrens?
Ow, person?
Side note, we should grab Tax and her family as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hook 'em up
I'm-
with the...
We'll just have a
I'm
red
honestly-
ship that's flying.
I'm very excited because for those of you who joined in for the scattering 3-shot, at the Harbinger of Knowledge is Torna. Oh, no, oh!
Anyone else hear the pop? There's like a pop when he did that.
Yes! Wow! Go watch the scattering if you didn't understand what that meant, and if you did, that was in for a real treat. So, without further ado, everyone, please join us next week on our recap session, and maybe I can work some things out with the Harbinger of Knowledge to see if we can get Greg back and not completely destroyed and in the void of nothingness. So, we love you guys so much, and please tune in. We'll have a live Q&A and a live chat about what our theories are. So we love you guys, and you have a wonderful evening.